What's wrong with your child? They don't seem normal.
Oh, define normal?
Normal's far too boring. All the statements and discussions highlighted in this video are taken from the real lived experiences of families in Swindon.
What's wrong with your child? They don't seem normal.
The only thing wrong with him is he's hungry.
He's always hungry. He eats his house and home.
Yeah, that's really, really harsh.
See, I don't think that's if someone said that to me, I'd probably be pretty offended, I'll be honest. I don't think I would take it very well. I'd probably say some things I can't say here.
You just kind of want to go, excuse me, what's wrong with your manners? You know, it's actually incredibly rude.
But to say that they don't seem normal, how do you define normal? What is normal? Am I normal?
And there's nothing wrong with him anyway. This is what I don't get. There's nothing wrong with him. It's just that there are some things that are different.
You wouldn't describe me as normal.
Well, we certainly wouldn't describe you as normal.
Typical child is what they're referring to.
But no, they're not wrong. There's nothing wrong with them. They are who they are.
Have you considered your choices, considering there's a 1 in 5 risk that your baby would have Down syndrome?
Oh, that was a question we were asked
That was from the consultant, wasn't it?
Many times from the consultant. Well, very early on when we knew there was the 1 in 5 chance, we started reading up on Down syndrome, and we learned from a lot of the texts that we'd read that there was already people trying to change the way Down syndrome was perceived, and so already we went in armed with it was a 1 in 5 chance, but even though we told her time and time again.
I think the word risk should be changed to chance.
Oh, definitely.
Because it doesn't matter.
Well,
there is no risk.
If you discuss anything as a risk, people are like, oh, they become wary. But
With
if
a
you say,
risk
oh,
comes
it's
a
a
hazard.
chance, but it's an amazing chance.
Oh, it's a fantastic chance.
What's their name? How old are they? Instead of talking to the child.
I hate this as well. It's so my daughter is non-verbal. She's 7 years old. She's non-verbal, but it doesn't mean that you cannot talk to her.
Can't look at her. Don't look.
She knows when someone's talking to her. She can tell, and as a parent, you really appreciate it as well. If the consultant or whoever takes the time to actually address your child. And okay, so you'll be asking her a question. You'll say, well, what's your name? How old are you? And I'll be answering the question. But that doesn't really matter.
She's still validated. She's still then considered a person and there and present, not just ignored and talked about.
Yeah, it's the fact that you're treating her as an individual in her own right, and that means such a lot to parents. It can mean the difference between an appointment, being fantastic and being horrendous, actually.
Yeah, I have walked out of appointments and just sat in the car and cried because they're hard.
I'd be surprised if your child was autistic. They're not like any I've ever met.
The paediatrician said something similar to me, so I have heard it several times. It makes you doubt yourself. Yeah. You're thinking, oh, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm overreacting to something, maybe there isn't an issue.
When my child was really young at preschool, I had someone say, oh, I used to work in an autistic school, there's no way he's autistic, or he's really affectionate, there's no way he can be autistic, or he doesn't fit those traits.
Yeah, like they don't understand that a child may represent differently, and it's not like a one-size-fits-all.
Oh, love this one. You're being an overprotective first-time parent. Oh dear.
It's just so patronising to assume that if someone hasn't had other children, that they've got no idea what children may or may not be doing at various points in their development.
I had that when I was taking him in. He must have been just under 2 years old, and by that point he'd spent most of his life in hospital anyway. And I took him in because he was crying for 72 hours.
Whether I've got other children or not should be irrelevant, actually. It's not relevant, is it?
No, because it's about that child.
And it turned out to be tonsillitis and double pneumonia.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I knew there was something wrong, I just couldn't see what was wrong. But yes, because he was under 2 and we were in hospital, I was overprotective.
Surely you can use the floor if your child won't fit on the baby change.
Yes, and surely you can use a rag to wipe your face. Is sometimes what I want to say.
Oh, it's infuriating, isn't it?
Yeah.
For me, so Emily is too big for a baby change. She's 7 years old. And when I ask people, where can I change Emily today? So I'm at a hospital appointment or wherever. And the answer is you have to go in a standard disabled toilet and, you know, basically change her on the floor. And what they're basically saying is your daughter won't realise, she hasn't got the understanding, she doesn't really know enough about what's going on. So it's fine to change her on the floor. And let me tell you now, just because Emily is, you know, developmentally delayed and non-verbal doesn't mean she doesn't know what's happening to her.
How does it make you feel to be described as the normal children in your family?
You can't really consider someone normal because everyone's so unique and different, and everyone you walk by every day, it's most likely there's going to be something completely different to you. They're not that likely at all, they can have completely different interests. And what I'm trying to say is there's no really normal people in the world.
Exactly.
Your child suffers with.
Oh my God.
Do they? Do you find your child suffers with their condition?
No, the only thing our child suffers from is bad moods.
My child doesn't suffer with anything.
My child doesn't suffer at all.
He knows no different.
I think like some of these quotes we're getting are just like, if you said that, it's just an unacceptable thing to say.
This is literally one of my least favourite phrases ever. Because our children don't suffer from their disabilities.
Yeah. Unless he's unwell, he doesn't suffer from anything.
No. But do you know what? I wonder if they see past the wheelchair.
If we can get their world to be adapted slightly, there's no reason that they'll ever suffer.
They might suffer from not being included because people think they can't be. And do you know what? That's what they suffer from. They don't suffer from their disability. They're happy children, they're lovable, they're excitable, and do you know what? They want to explore the world too. So no, a diagnosis doesn't mean you suffer.
I think the only thing you could maybe say that they suffer from is ignorance of other people that are putting limits on them when there are no limits.
The language we use every day has the power to influence our perception and attitude. By reshaping the conversation, we can start to make positive changes to ensure that we never underestimate the impact that words can have on the lives of our extraordinary children and their families.
Swindon Send Families Voice have collaborated with local parents and organisations to create this video. And now we would like to invite you to help us reshape the conversation, because our voices are always better together.